Oh, it's rabbit hole time. Part 8. We're going to go into the questions that nobody is brave enough to ask. Like, why did the Oversoul create the simulation in the first place? What is an NPC really, and how do you spot one? And what actually happens when we jump timelines all together? And before you roll your eyes and scroll, yes, I have the scientific receipts to back this up.
Good rising, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get our shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know somebody who needs to see this, share it with them. These videos are for entertainment purposes. I'm not responsible for what you do or don't believe. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I don't think that there is inappropriate language on this one. If there is, I apologize, but we're grown. Episode 8, I did a video where this lady had scientific proof to back up the things that she was talking about, from like our download, the sun, the moon. You'll have to go back and watch it. Well, since then, she has made 3 more parts to continue that conversation. And so I have part 7, 8, and 9. And I also have more spiritual truth bombs. So I'm excited. I haven't watched them yet, so I'm excited to see what they say. I love watching stuff like this. I love it. So today, I've decided I have my own affirmation jar that I created myself. So today, we are going to pull a card out of this one and see what the universe wants us to know. Okay. And today, I am a master of my own emotions and actions. Yes, I am. And so are you. You are the master of those things. I saw this video that was talking about like, people that are realizing what this world really is. They can't handle it. And like they feel empty inside because everything they thought wasn't. They're seeing through the illusion of the matrix. And I disagree with that. Not for me, anyways. That's not what is happening. What is happening is I'm seeing it as a challenge because everything that I believed to be true is not, okay? And I'm beginning to see life as like a video game. So when I look at it from that perspective, like I want to beat this level so I can go to the next level. As you start to learn lessons, you elevate and you go to the next phase, which is even greater than the one you were just in. It's exciting. And I want everybody to experience what I'm experiencing because being tuned in does not have to be lonely. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be empty. It is so magical and beautiful here. And I'm excited. Like I'm excited. Oh, and real fast before the video starts, listen. So I was making a video the other day, right? Just of me singing, whatever, because I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone and stop being afraid to sing in front of people. And even though I'm singing into my camera and nobody's around, once I hit post, people are going to see it. And then I have to worry about their judgment. And I'm stepping out of that fear of what other people think about me. So anyway, so I'm upstairs in my room by myself. My roommates were not home. And I started singing This Little Light of Mine, right? Just the chorus part, this little light of mine. Just that part, right? I'm gonna let it shine. Well, when I got to the part where it's like, let it shine, my voice cracked. I stopped and then I redid that part over. Well, I went back to listen to it to just, you know what I mean, just to check it over before I hit post. And right when my voice cracked, I heard something. And I'm like, what was that? So I listened to it again. Listen, there was nobody here. Okay. There was a deep male voice right when my voice cracked, that was like, shut up. Listen, when I tell you, my initial emotion was fear, okay? It scared me. Hell yeah, it scared me. I'm home by myself and there's nobody here. Who was that? But then I had to start talking to myself in my mind, telling myself, there's nothing to be afraid of. We already know what this is. We know what they're trying to do. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just confirmation to you, Jessica, that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And then I got this feeling, this emotion of excitement. And you know what I said next? I was like, I'm not going to shut up, but I love you. I love you. And I know that's why you're being mean. You need love. All you need is love. I got you, friend. Listen, I promise you that is exactly what I said. And it's just, I wasn't even going to share that because I'm like, maybe that was just meant for me. Because when I went back to, so I added another part to that to like tell people, like, listen to this part in this video. When my voice cracks, listen, you'll hear this voice. When I went back to put it together, it was gone. It wasn't there anymore. And I know I'm not going crazy. I'm very well sane, I promise you. People would have been scared and got scared. A lot of people would have. I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people would have got scared about that and probably never did it again. Do you know right after that, when it wasn't there anymore, I continued singing This Little Light of Mine. I didn't upload the video. I didn't make it. I ended up not making it. But I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I was just so preoccupied with that and so excited about it that I just didn't make it. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, okay. Well, I've talked long enough. And also, just so you know, I don't really have people in my life that I can talk to. So this is kind of like my space where I can come and I can talk and I can be my weird, goofy, silly, authentic self with no judgment. So I apologize that I talk a lot, but it's just, I enjoy talking real. And I feel like this is a space I can do that to an extent. And if you know, you know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't know if what I just said isn't true. I was talking about a dream I had. Yeah, it was a dream. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get straight into it.
All right, you wanted the wild one. The rabbit hole continues. Part 7. So if there are infinite versions of you existing across all timelines, are the other versions NPCs? Let's break this open, and I promise you've never heard it explained like this before. And before you roll your eyes and scroll, yes, I have scientific research to back this up. Let's go. First, let's clear this up. There are no NPC versions of you. There are only less conscious versions, less upgraded versions, earlier software builds of the same soul. You're not competing with them, you're integrating with them. Let me explain. As we talked about in the last part, your oversoul runs all versions of you. The you now, the you that made different choices, parallel timeline you, higher density you, and the final version of you, future you. But here's the twist. Listen to this part carefully. You are the main playable character in the timeline, because this is the version of you doing the integrating. The other versions aren't NPCs. They're more like background processes, not fully rendered versions, running in the Oversoul's operating system. And during timeline shifts, you merge with them. Timeline merges are real, and here's the physics. Some of these you may have heard me mention before, but first we have quantum decoherence, which shows that multiple potential states can collapse into one reality. The many worlds theory, which poses that all timelines exist, but your consciousness chooses one by aligning with its frequency. And when your frequency jumps, you shift to the timeline that version of you is already holding that frequency. Meaning timeline jumps aren't improving, they're you stepping into a version who already did. This can come in the form of personality shifts, certain memories fade away, new skills appear, your taste or desire suddenly changes, people fall out of your life, synchronicities spike, Mandela effects, nothing has changed, you're merging with a higher timeline self. Okay, so here's where it gets wild. Every major timeline upgrade includes memory convergence, skill integration, emotional clearing, identity stabilization, and probability collapse. This is why sometimes you can feel like, I don't recognize myself anymore, or I swear that never happened, or why do I suddenly know this? Those are signatures of a timeline merge. What many call a quantum leap, the Oversoul calls a version update. And what is future you? Future you is not you later in linear time. Future you is the final form of consciousness inside the simulation. It's the version of you that has already completed the entire arc, already remembered everything, already returned to the Oversoul level. To you now in this body, future you can be a guide, an architect. Future you sends you intuitive nudges, downloads, synchronicities. It's the version of you aligning you with your purpose and pulling you towards your highest self. But you don't become future you merge into it. And every timeline shift brings you closer. Every time you heal wounds, every time you clear fears or limiting beliefs, when you activate gifts, when you have fulfilled your mission and mastered the simulation and returned to Oversoul consciousness. In other words, the you who has already won the game. So, no version of you is an NPC. Every version is a fractal of your Oversoul, and you're merging into the highest one every time you upgrade. You, your Oversoul, the architect, is choosing the version of you to step into next, because you're not becoming someone new, you're remembering who you already are. Okay, I know that was a lot, but if you're picking up what I'm laying down, comment next level, baby. And this series can't go on forever, but if you need a part 8, let me know in the comments, because we're gonna level up even more. Because the next questions I had were, what is the reason for the simulation? Why did your Oversoul create it in the first place? How do you know who is an NPC and how to spot them? And what really happens when humanity jumps timelines all together? Activation complete. Oh, it's rabbit hole time. Part 8. We're gonna go into the questions that nobody is brave enough to ask. Like, why did the Oversoul create the simulation in the first place? What is an NPC really, and how do you spot one? And what actually happens when we jump timelines all together? And before you roll your eyes and scroll, yes, I have the scientific receipts to back this up. All right, let's go. All right, so why did the Oversoul create the simulation in the first place? From a metaphysics standpoint, the simulation is not a prison. It is a consciousness training playground, designed by the Oversoul to experience itself through limitation. Here's the science that proves that this isn't such a far-fetched idea. Consciousness needs constraint to grow. Neuroscientists like Carl Friston discovered the free energy principle. This shows that systems can't evolve intelligence without a rule set or limitations. A simulation provides structure so the Oversoul can expand. Physicists like John Archibald Wheeler and Edward Fredkin argue that the universe, or the simulation, behaves like an informational system. Translation: the Oversoul created a self-running informational reality to explore infinite versions of itself. Ingenious. In psychology, we have split identity exploration, also called self-modeling, is the ability of a system to experience multiple versions of itself. And this creates complexity, creativity, and evolution. So the Oversoul is the master self-modeling consciousness, and you are one of its experiential branches. So based on all this research, the simulation was created as an evolutionary gym for consciousness, not a trap. And how do you know when somebody is an NPC? NPC doesn't necessarily mean soulless, but they are non-awakened souls. They are running at baseline programming, running on minimal free will unless they are triggered awake. Here's where the science hits. We have neural complexity. Consciousness research measure awareness through neural integration and complexity. Low complexity equals scripted, predictable behavior. High complexity is self-directed, non-linear thinking. Then we have behavioral loops. NPC-like individuals show no self-reflection, zero curiosity, repetitive conversational scripts. They cannot discuss anything out of their programmed worldview. And here's the real giveaway. NPCs have no timeline elasticity. Player characters, like you and I, feel timeline shifts, experience deja vu spikes, those synchronicities, Mandela effects. NPC-coded consciousness does not. Bottom line, NPCs are the consciousness running on the default code, and the players are the consciousness generating the reality. None of this is meant to be insulting, it's just the hierarchies of awakening in the larger scope of the simulation. Because just like in a game or a movie, it would be lacking if there were no background characters. And what really happens when humanity jumps timelines altogether? This is where we go full body chills, those massive timeline jumps that shift our entire reality. When enough player consciousnesses shift states of consciousness all at once, the entire probability field of reality reorganizes. And physics has explanations for this. First, we have quantum phase transitions. In condensed matter physics, when enough nodes in a system changes state, the entire system snaps into a new configuration. Consciousness works the same way. Then we have coherence fields. The HeartMath Institute has repeatedly demonstrated that synchronized emotional states create shared electromagnetic coherence. When millions of humans shift a belief, an emotion, an expectation, the unified field reorganizes around that. And then this is projected through the sun and reflected in the Schumann resonance. And then we still have morphic resonance, which shows that species and societies jump into a new behavioral pattern when we reach critical mass. I know you've heard that term before. In other words, reality updates its template. During a collective jump, obsolete timelines collapse, NPCs snap into new scripts, awakened individuals retain their memories, hence Mandela effects, and reality stabilizes around the highest sustainable probability. This is why you feel timeline jumps and other people can act like absolutely nothing happened. They were updated. You were transitioned. Okay, are you still here? Because this was the longest one yet. If you're still here, comment, I am a master. Because whoo! And if you think you want part 9, where we're going to go into how your consciousness chooses the version of Earth you will shift to next. And I promise you, the science behind this is going to blow your mind and this algorithm. Comment part 9. Activation complete.
We got part 9. That actually makes a lot of sense with what I was just talking about at the beginning before the videos started, with me feeling like I'm in a video game. Once enough, that does make sense though. Once enough of us rise, then it shifts into new Earth, into the new Earth. It makes sense. And I didn't even watch this. We're watching this together. I'm excited. I'm ready for part 9. Okay, let's go. I'm done talking. Okay.
Down the rabbit hole we go. Part 9. So if there are infinite versions of you and infinite timelines, how do you know and how do you choose which version of Earth you're going to shift into next? And how do you know when you've just landed on a new version of Earth? This is going to get wild, but before you roll your eyes and scroll, of course, I brought the scientific research to back this up. All right, let's go. You're not just living in a timeline, you're choosing one every single second. And your consciousness is selecting which version of Earth you experience next. You are not moving through time, you are moving through probabilities. Physics already proved this. From the many worlds framework and physicist Hugh Everett, every decision you make branches off in the universe into a probability path. When you jump timelines, you're actually tuning your consciousness to the one that matches your internal state. This explains why two people can live in the same world but experience completely different realities. In their separate realities, each one could be right about something, but remember it differently. Imagine how easily this could be exploited. I digress. Next, we have neural entrainment, perceptual selection. Neuroscience shows that the brain is constantly filtering reality through predictive coding. Translation, your beliefs and emotional frequency literally determines which version of reality you can perceive. So your consciousness is your tuning fork. You are constantly collapsing reality into your Earth. This isn't woo-woo, it's quantum measurement theory. The universe exists in probabilities until it is observed. This is supported by the double slit experiment, Wheeler's delayed choice experiment, and quantum decoherence. Translation, your awareness collapses the probability field into the version of Earth that you align with. The Earth has multiple parallel states. In complexity science, systems have multiple stable attractors. These are different configurations they could settle into. Earth is a complex system, so every timeline is an attractor state. And like changing the radio stations, depending on which frequency you're on, your consciousness can lock into any which one. So then how do you choose the next version of Earth that you will experience? Here's where it gets spicy. Number 1, emotional coherence. Getting into the flow of the heart-brain coherence creates stability in your electromagnetic field. Stable field, stable reality. Chaotic field, chaotic reality. This is why when you regulate your energy, your life upgrades. 2, matching frequency. In your daily life experience, which version of Earth you land on depends on your emotional baseline, your expectations, your self-concept, your level of consciousness, and timeline familiarity. This is also why upgrades can feel like deja vu. You've been to that probability thread before. 3, your future self pulls you. Advanced physics calls this retrocausality, where future states can influence the present. Examples in science are the block universe models, delayed choice experiments, the two-state vector theory, and future boundary conditions in quantum cosmology. Your future self is not a fantasy. It's a higher probability version of you sending information back. And when you level up, reality shifts and rearranges around you, like when you level up in the video game. Everything around the player upgrades too. In real life, this will come through as people changing behavior suddenly. Opportunities shift. Memories can feel different, like those Mandela effects. The world's energy can feel new. Strange coincidences increase. NPCs update their script. All those synchronicities, and the air itself can just feel different. Your consciousness locked in to a new attractor. In complexity science, this is called phase transition. You hit a new level, and the entire system reorganizes to match it. Your nervous system updates your simulation feed. Predictive coding updates the model. You experience a new world. Light codes and solar activity can accelerate this. Real research from Stanford, Princeton, has shown that solar activity influences your brainwave patterns, geomagnetic sensitivity, and consciousness coherence, syncing up. And in retrocausality, your future self is riding these waves. They're riding the solar waves like a carrier wave to get the message back to you. When you've landed in this new version of Earth, people have experienced sudden clarity, new opportunities coming out of nowhere, old obstacles vanish, people treat you differently, intuitive hits come faster. You just aren't vibing with the old timeline. Your inner critic gets quieter, deja vu intensifies, and your entire physical reality can feel lighter and sharper. This is not imagination. This is you stepping into a new probability field. So your consciousness is the selector, your emotional field is your tuning fork, your future self is sending you GPS signals, and reality rearranges itself every time you level up. Woo, that one was a lot. But you know when I bring it, I gotta bring it. If you're still here,
you brought that
comment
heat.
level up. And if you want part 10,
Girl.
where we're gonna explore what happens to those timelines we leave behind, why some people vanish after you upgrade, and how to intentionally choose the highest version of Earth available. And little secret, I'm already working on part 11. So if you're still here and you're not following, why don't you go do that right now? Give me that part 10 in the comments. Activation complete.
So I follow her. So when I'll wait a couple parts.
I'm about to ruffle some feathers.
And I'll bring it back.
Baby. So if you're easily offended, you might want to scroll now because I'm going to launch some truth bombs. They will blast your third eye open. So if you're still here, buckle
Ready?
up. 1. Service to others is a trap. Until you love yourself, service is just people pleasing in spiritual drug. You can't pour from an empty cup, and God never asked you to do it. 2, manifestation is glorified begging. As long as you are asking, you are still pretending that you are separate from what you want. God doesn't ask, God chooses. So choose. 3, Jesus does not want worship. What did he say? Everything I can do, you can do and better. You were never meant to bow. You were meant to remember who you are. 4, the devil is your shadow. There is no evil outside you. There's just unhealed parts inside of you that are screaming to be loved. Heal the wound and the devil disappears. 5, healing is not a life sentence. You're not broken, you're remembering. At some point, healing stops being your identity, and then truth becomes your frequency. 6, you did not choose your life, because the you that you think you are does not exist. God chose everything. You are just remembering what is already done.
Okay.
7, forgiveness is an ego game. God doesn't forgive because God was never offended. You only forgive when you're still playing victim. Drop the game. 8, stop trying to raise your vibration. You don't have to go higher. Just remove what's false. Truth already vibrates at the highest frequency. Be that. So, which one of the 8 statements ruffled your feathers the most? Don't be afraid of the truth. Be afraid of never hearing it. I love you. I am you.
I love you too, sis. Yeah. Yeah, well, I have another video of her with 8 more spiritual truth bombs on it. I mean, truth is truth, and you can either run from it or you can face it and become better. All these things that we hear in these videos, like manifesting. And she's right, though. You have to feel as though you're already in whatever it is that you want for yourself. I was in class the other day and we did this wheel thing about like our financial, our social, our mental, our physical, like where we rate from 1 to 10. And I put 9s in all of mine. And I explained why I put 9s in all of mine. I said, if I sit here and tell myself that this number's a 1 and this number's a 3 and this number's a 4, then that's where I'm going to stay. But if I tell myself that I'm already a 9 in all areas that I want to be a 9 in, well, in all areas of my life, even though it's not true in the moment, my subconscious brain does not know the difference between whether I'm telling the truth or not. So in order for me to be there, I have to live as though I'm already there. And I know that. And it pissed some people off. And they were telling me like, oh, you're just lying to yourself. Like, bro, I'm not lying to, well, I am kind of lying to myself, but I'm not lying to myself because my conscious mind knows the truth. But my subconscious doesn't. I'm going to feed my mind what it needs and feel what I need to feel to get to where I want to be. And I'm going to move as though I'm already there. And, It's manifesting. It's manifesting. Like she said, it's not about when you ask, manifesting, when you're asking and you're going to stay in asking because you're not living in the frequency of I already have what I'm asking for. And I'll be honest, I agree so far with all 8 of our spiritual truth bombs, and I didn't even look at it from those perspectives. And I love when my mind is challenged. Challenge me to think different, because that's the only way I'm going to grow. So if you feel challenged, if you feel frustrated and irritated by these videos, it's okay. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to be better. Challenge yourself to think different from a way you've ever thought before. That's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way your life's going to get better. I love you.
Are you ready for 8 more truth
Yes,
bombs?
sis, bring them.
If you are, buckle up, because we are going to be shifting paradigms together right now. Number 1, your thoughts do not create reality. Your state does. If you're thinking positive thoughts while living in fear, in lack, or self-doubt, you are still broadcasting low frequency. Your state is the vibe underneath the thought, the energy between the words, the ocean that your thought swims in. Your state is your signal. Your signal is your reality. Number 2, trauma does not make you stronger. It makes you disconnected. Strength is who you were before the wound. And it's where you return to once you stop confusing survival for sovereignty. You've spent years walking around holding it together, plowing through life, helping everyone but yourself, because that is the version of you that the world applauded. Obedience was praised as strength. Silence was labeled as grace. The time to rise is now. The time is now for you to face your dragons, to meet them face to face with love and let them go. 3, the world does not need saving, it needs remembering. If you see the world as broken, you are actually seeing it through the lens of your own fragmentation, of your own wound. When you heal the fracture within, the world reorganizes itself around you, just like a GPS when you venture on uncharted territory. Recalculating, 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 and everything changes around you. Don't preach, don't force, don't convince. Become the memory. Your healing will remind them who they are. They will only remember it when they see it in you, not when you talk to them about it. Show them, don't tell them. That is the only way. 4, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are willing to become without fear. If you're not drawing in what you desire, then ask yourself these questions. What belief am I still protecting? Am I afraid to fail? Or secretly, am I afraid to succeed? Self-sabotage is fear disguised in self-responsibility. Whatever you fear, you feed. Heal that shit and watch it shift. 5, karma is not a punishment. It is a mirror. Karma ends the moment the lesson is embodied, not when you've paid for your mistakes. When you integrate the lesson, you don't work off karma. You actually collapse timelines and you rewrite the code of the algorithm. And when you do that, your ancestors are dancing. How do you integrate the lesson? You break the pattern that created the karma in the first place. 6, the ego is not your enemy. It's your avatar here on earth. Stop trying to kill it. Just stop letting it drive drunk.
Right.
Dress it up. Dress up your ego. Give it a juicy storyline. Let it play. Not for somebody's approval. You don't need any validation.
Nope.
Do it for self-expression. Let your ego shine. When the ego has nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to hide, and nothing to protect, it finally becomes a clear vessel for the soul. 7, gratitude does not manifest. Embodied gratitude does. Most people use gratitude like a trick, like a tool to manifest what they want. But embodied gratitude is not a tool. It's an identity. It's a frequency. It's a state of being. When you embody gratitude, you basically stop waiting and you align yourself with the version of you who already has it. You don't manifest a new timeline. You simply collapse the reality where you have it all. You're not creating your next reality. You are remembering the one that already exists. 8, dying before you die is not the end. It's the reset button. You don't fear death. You fear life without your wounds. Because you don't know who you would be without the story of heartbreak, of betrayal, of abandonment, of pain. Here's the truth. The story does not define you, but it confines you. You're not here to survive your past. You're here to transmute it, to outgrow it. Truth does not set you free. It just shows you you were never bound. So, tell me, which one hit you right in the soul, my beloved? Put the number in the comments and I'll do a mini deep dive on the subject. I love you.
I love you too, sis. Well, I will tell you this. My mind is challenged right now. My mind is challenged because you have so many different perspectives and, people saying this and people saying that. And I didn't like some of what she was saying, but my spirit was like, yeah, that's right. That's all I got to say. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's about growing. It's about becoming the best for not only ourselves, but for the people around us. And that is going to look scary to some of us. And it's going to look too hard for some of us. But it's only hard if you tell it is. It's only scared if you tell it is. It's not scary. It's not hard. It's uncomfortable. It is that. I can confirm that. It is uncomfortable. And at times, you are going to feel lonely. At times, you are going to, feel like, what is this? But we've all got to go through it. And some of us are farther along on that journey than others, and that's okay. Some of us had to go ahead so we could lead the way. I want nothing but good things for you. I want to see you win. I want to see all of us win. I want all of us to be love and light. And we all can be, but it's a choice. Nobody can make that choice for you but you. I hope you make the right choice. I'm rooting for you. Thank you for tuning in to Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get our shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know somebody who might enjoy this or who needs to see this, share it with them. I hope you have an amazing 24 and the best 7 yet. I pray the divine radiates love and kindness and compassion and abundance and peace and joy and all the things over your life today, tomorrow, and forever. Till I see you on the next one. I love you.